Good morning, my friends. The question before us today is, how can you overlook past hurt in your marriage? But before I try to answer this question, I would like to share a brief story with you. The story was told of two friends who were walking through a desert. During some point of the journey, they had an argument and one friend slapped the other. The one who got the slap felt hurt, but without saying anything, wrote in the sand, "Today my best friend slapped me." They kept on walking until they found an oasis where they decided to take a bath. The one who had been slapped got stuck in the mire and started drowning, but the friend saved him. After he recovered from the near drowning experience, he wrote on a stone, "Today my best friend saved my life." The friend who had slapped and saved his best friend asked him, "After I hurt you, you wrote in the sand, and now you wrote on a stone. Why?" The other friend replied, "When someone hurts us, we should write it down in sand, where winds of forgiveness can erase it away. But when someone does something good for us, we must engrave it in stone, where no wind can ever erase it." The moral of this story from the writer says that one ought to learn to write their hurts in the sand and to carve their benefits in stone, because life is too short to waste time hating anyone. Enjoy every moment of life. And so this is what the author wants us to learn from this story, that when someone hurt us, we can write it in the sand so that the wind can blow it away. And it's always good to remember the good, so that that can be in stone, something to always see and remember. And so now I will move to the question, how can you overlook past hurt in your marriage? Now, I am thinking that overlooking a past hurt would be a personal decision that someone feels comfortable in doing. If a spouse process the situation, talk about the situation, and reach that place where he or she feels that I am at this point where I am going to overlook that hurt and move on with my relationship, it's a commendable thing to do. I also want to say that individuals do deal with relationship issues in various ways. And if one chooses to move past the hurt and enjoy a healthy relationship, that in itself is also okay. But I would also like to further share that when a hurt is overlooked, it could also suggest that one could fail to notice the hurt. So I do get the sense that even if that is the case, someone may be hurting. There might be some hurt going on somewhere. And so, if that is the case, I would like to provide a few tips just in case the hurt is still lingering. or still haunting the relationship. But bear in mind, as I said earlier, if you are at the place in your heart, in your thoughts, in your action, and you feel like something happened in your relationship that was hurting you, but you took time to process it, and you are now ready to move on, to overlook it, put it aside, and just move on as it has never happened. People can reach that stage. And so, if that is where you are, go on and enjoy your relationship and keep living and sharing with each other. So these tips I just want to add to the conversation. And like I said, just in case the earth was failed to notice in some area and maybe still lingering, then here are a few tips that could assist. Now, I am aware of a theory that is called the cycle of pain. This cycle consists of pain in itself, which is in the center, surrounded by distress and avoidance. Now, when you are in chronic pain, a common reaction is to stop doing activities that may hurt, that may cause more pain, right? So, overlooking the pain sometimes could be trying to avoid more pain. But unfortunately, even when you try that, sometimes you're often still hurting because there is a pain. Now, when couples are not able to get past an hurt, it can cause bitterness to build up. It can cause what could be referred to as a withdrawal syndrome. It can cause couples to walk on eggshell around each other, which is very unhealthy. And so the thing that sometimes causes the hurt is when there is a continuation of hurts within the relationship. So someone was hurt last year, a couple months ago, last week, and then there is another hurt, maybe similar, and so it's like it opened the wound again. And so it is an internal cycle which can be very painful. And so it is very important that all of those situations be processed carefully, so that whenever you're ready to move on, you're not taking it with you. The other thing I would like to point out is that one of the reasons couples sometimes hold on to hurt is that they feel that their pain has not been acknowledged by the other spouse. Or in other words, no apology has not been offered. And so when that happens, there are times when individuals hold on to the hurt, and then when something else happens, it is pulled out of the bag and it surfaces again in the relationship, and it adds to more pain. So some things that I would suggest is to have a conversation with your spouse about acknowledging the hurt. Now, for almost every question, every issue in a relationship, communication always comes into the answers, because it is a vital ingredient in a relationship. So have the conversation about how you feel about the pain and the hurt that was not acknowledged. This you can do by being direct with each other. Do not go around it. Be as direct as possible. Say exactly what the hurt is, and never forget to express how it makes you feel, even at the moment that you're talking about it. This can be viewed as emotional regulation. And so when you're able to express, because you see, the minute you try to repress your feelings, the sooner you will feel defeated. So don't be afraid to regulate the emotions that are happening. So there might be a lot of emotions coming up, and you'd want to just, shoot them at the other spouse. But in all of this, as you share, try and see how well you can regulate the emotion, and don't be afraid to name your feelings. So while you're sharing, add names to those feelings. Let your spouse know how it makes you feel. Okay? Now the second point is try not to store up the unresolved hurt. And so this can be very detrimental to a relationship. Anything that is unresolved is gonna surface back. And so when this is happening, try not to deny it, because it is crucial that you do not hold in the pain of whatever is causing the hurt, so as to avoid the built-up hurt feelings. How do you do this? When stuff comes up, share it. Whatever that is, share it, express it. Stop resisting the pain you're feeling. Because let us be fair, when someone close to you hurt you, it is more difficult than someone not close to you to deal with the situation. It does create a deeper challenge to overcome. So one of the best things to do is to express it as soon as possible, so that it is not stored up. Okay? The third point is, and I touched on it earlier, but let me revisit it, is to ask for an apology for the pain that you're going through, for the pain that you're feeling. So earlier, we talk about expressing, having the conversation, try not to store it up. I'm sorry. And so you're now at the point that you have been direct about what's going on, and you're now asking for the apology. Now, it sounds away, right? Because if somebody hurts you, they should really have enough knowledge to say that, I hurt my spouse, let me say I am sorry. But the reality is, for some couples, this is not so. Sometimes someone in the relationship is just not willing to accept that they hurt the other spouse. And also, they're not willing to use the words, I am sorry, which makes it very hard sometimes. And so, it's okay to say, you hurt me, and you did not apologize. And you're ready to move on and what would have been helpful is if you admit what was done and apologize. Now, I'm not going to say that this is going to be easy, but it takes a level of maturity to really deal with it. It takes a level of maturity on both individual part to be able to ask for it, and for the other person to be able to receive it, and also to put it in action. So it's not easy for some individuals, but it's one of the ways that could help. The third point I would like to point out is try and rebuild trust. Now, why is this important? It is because somebody is hurting. And when somebody hurts, and especially if it continues to happen, and things start to store up and build up, automatically the spouse might just lost some form of trust in the other partner. And so if you're ready to move on, you're ready to overlook the urge, it's very important to also try and rebuild the trust that you have for each other. When a hurt feeling prolonged for a period of time, trust can be broken down. And so it would be a good time to try and rebuild your trust in your spouse so as to maintain a loving and healthy relationship. That is also key. And when this happens, refrain from throwing the hurt at your spouse at every chance you get, or whenever another issue comes up. This is unhealthy. It makes no sense that a spouse or a couple is ready to rebuild trust, but yet still something else happened, and then the hurt is thrown again at the individual. If we put it down, if we lay it down, you just got to let it stay right there and not use as ammunition in the relationship. It should not be used as an act of reminder, as it were. I know it's easier said than done, but it is never healthy to continue to pull back for the hurt. Because it can also be seen as a weapon which can destroy your marriage. So just bear those points in mind. And the next point is make a conscious decision to forgive your spouse. A conscious decision. This has to be a decision that speaks your truth. The truth of what you really want, the way you'd like it to be done, the way you want to live, and the way you want to please, each other, so that you're able to live loving and live in such a way that you enjoy each other company, you enjoy sharing and working and just being with each other. And so it's a very conscious decision, but if you're ready to move on, forgiveness is very essential. Now, I want to say that in all of this, love yourself enough to let go of the hurt. And I will repeat it. Love yourself enough to let go of the hurt, because hurt feelings, built up hurt, store up hurt, it's like it place you in a prison with the door closing in on you. And that in itself is so unhealthy. And so, if you love yourself enough to let go of the hurt, then it will also allow you to reconnect with your spouse. And you will find yourself loving each other, caring for each other, and restoring your relationship on the healthy part. In closing, I would like to say to you that remember that forgiveness doesn't mean that you condone the hurt or condone what was done to you that was uncomfortable. But lack of forgiveness also can wear you down. I would also encourage you to look at the bigger picture, which would be your commitment to and for each other. And if that is what you want, then one got to make a deep and serious decision to let go of the old hurts, as nursing them or repeating it after every other mistakes can lead to resentment and hatred and store up hurt. One may never know the reason for the behavior, but if you can get past it, if you can get past the hurt and focus on the present moments in your relationship and strive to having and enjoying a healthy relationship with your spouse, you can move forward with your relationship. The Word of God in Ephesians 4 verse 32 also reminds us to be tender-hearted and to forgive each other. I know it's not easy, but as I said before, if a spouse reach at that point and process all that they have been through and what they were hurt about, or if it is a specific hurt, and they are at that stage that they can put it behind them and move forward with their relationship, I wish you Godspeed. I wish you the help of the Heavenly Father, because I know that there is nothing impossible for Him to do. And so I wish you all well. Thank you so much for listening, and may God bless your marriage and may He bless your relationship. See you next time. Bye bye.